Hey guys, and welcome to another day of Spookmas! If you know me, and if you read the title, I love astrology. I have been studying astrology for the past couple of years and recently got back into it pretty hardcore. I was trying to figure out a way that I could do something with astrology in my 12 Days of Spookmas series, and I decided that today we're gonna read my dog Kelvin's birth chart. Every person, place, and thing has a birth chart. And yes, people have birth charts, but animals also have birth charts. And you're probably like, well, I adopted my animal. How am I supposed to know when they were actually born? And my friends, this is where the power of adoption birth charts are a thing. I went back and I dug through all of Kelvin's old adoption papers because, spoiler, we did adopt our dog. He is the best used dog I've ever had. I looked through his papers and found his birth date, and I found his adoption date down to the actual time and minutes and seconds. And so today we're gonna go look up on my astrology program, and we're gonna see if in fact Kelvin is what I think he is with his birth chart. So with all that said, I'm really excited, and let's get into this video. Before we get into Kelvin's birth chart, I think I need to do a little bit of explaining what a birth chart is, because when I bring up this subject to a lot of people, they don't know that it exists. And so this is what a birth chart is. The day that you were born down to the minute and the seconds, the display of stars and planets in the sky imprinted on you, and that is what gives you your personality. Now, a lot of people think that when they get their astrology sun sign read, or when they figure out what their sun sign is and they read their horoscope in the paper, or like those funny, silly Cosmo magazine horoscope things, it's always just the sun sign. And sometimes people are like, I don't resonate with my sun sign. And that is because you are not including all of the other planets and stars and everything else that is in your birth chart. You have your sun, your moon, your rising, which are three of the main big planets and luminaries that really start to shape you. But you're also missing out on a ton of other planets like Mercury, Venus, Mars, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune. You're missing out on all these other planets that coincide and work together or have a little more difficulty working with each other in your chart, which makes you, you. And so your birth chart literally shows you your personality, your wants, your goals, your desires, the wounds that you carry, how your relationships will be with others, how you will attract money, how you will deal with certain events in your life. Some people have fated events that they just have to do in order for their soul to learn its purpose in this lifetime. And so it can get pretty complicated, and this is why you should go to an actual astrologer, because in reality, the whole purpose, and one of the main purposes that I believe that why we are here on earth, is to learn these lessons that our soul or our being needs to learn to move on and into that, and whatever happens to us after we die, to learn these lessons in this lifetime and become a better human and help and heal others. So that was a long-winded explanation what a birth chart is. Let me pull up Kelvin's birth chart and we'll see what it says. And then I can break it down a little bit and we can see if this is his personality. All right, so I pulled up Kelvin's birth chart, and according to his adoption papers that I'm looking at, he was adopted on 1/21/2018 at 5:59 p.m. His adoption city was in Minneapolis, Minnesota, because that's where Mike and I used to live for many years. Let's get into his birth chart. So I have his adoption birth chart up in front of us, and we're just gonna go over the your big three, which is your sun, your moon, and your rising or / ascendant. We're gonna look at his big three. So we've got his sun is in Aquarius, his moon is in Cancer, and his rising sign or his ascendant sign is in Leo. I could definitely see this. Right now, I just wanna let everybody know that since this is his adoption chart, I will never know exactly when he was born, which would tell me his actual personality, his likes, his dislikes and stuff. We're gonna look at this with kind of a grain of salt. there are certain things that I might say that I think he is or that I think he isn't, because birth charts are extremely accurate when they are read correctly, and so I'm going to try to read this as correctly as I possibly can. So here we go. So let's talk about his 3 big signs. So his sun is in Aquarius, and it's at 1 degree. So Aquarius, they are known for being very forward thinking. They're thinking about the future. They're thinking about technology and future thinking. A lot of times Aquarius, they're also very determined, and they can be a little stubborn. They're also a fixed sign. So when you have a fixed sign, usually you are opposed to change, but Aquarians embraces change. So, now that I'm thinking about it, I could see Calvin's sun sign being an Aquarius. One of their main things in this life is the community and what they think about what's going on in the wider world. An Aquarius is like I said, they're very forward thinking, but they're also the humanitarians of all of the zodiac signs. Like, they really care about what's going on in the wider community and in the world. And if it doesn't come off as worry about the world, they just care. To them, what is going to affect their children in the long run, whether it has to do with like technology or just like anything futuristic and future in general, they're going to be the ones that are going to be very vocal in voicing their opinions on things that bother them in the world. Some of their major strengths are they're very loyal, inventive, and they're a very independent sign. And so with Calvin, obviously he's a dog and he's not very independent in that way, but I would say he's independent where if I let him outside, run away, but he'll go do his own thing. He's very, very loyal. Oh my God. The dog is just loyal. And I could definitely see Calvin being a forward thinker if he had a human brain. Obviously, we're talking about a dog here, so I don't know how many dogs actually think about the future, but who knows? Maybe he is. Maybe he could be thinking about his next meal. Like, that's a dog. That's what dogs do, right? Some of the major challenges with Aquarius suns are they can be kind of detached, high-strung, and they're very, very rebellious. So Aquarius is the planet that is linked with Aquarius is Uranus, and Uranus is very rebellious and shocking, and it's kind of unpredictable. So those are some things that Aquarians deal with on a daily basis. But again, just because I'm saying all this stuff about Aquarius and you have a sun sign in Aquarius doesn't mean that this is literally going to be you, because again, you have to take in all of the stuff in your chart. His sun is in the 7th house, and I know you're looking at all these little pie charts, but I'm not going to explain pretty much what this is because I would talk about this forever, and I've already probably gone over my talking limit with the his first sign. But his sun is 1 degree in Aquarius in the 7th house. It's right conjunct, which means right next to the descendant line. And usually if you have a planet or planets, mainly one planet, that is right on or near this line, this means that the people, or if you whoever you have in the 7th house, the 7th house represents relationships, close relationships, so like whoever you're married to or dating. And it also can represent like really close bonds, like friendships, like real close, like your best friend, relationships like that. So it's not like relationships where it's like the friends at your gym or the friends at work. It's literally real close people to you. And whenever you have a planet that's close to the descendant, or honestly kind of in this house, but mainly on the descendant, that's the type of people that you're going to be either really attracted to, or you're going to have a lot of this type of person come into your life. So Calvin has his Aquarius in the 7th house of his relationships, and he has his sun here. So this means that he will definitely be attracting Aquarian-like people. Aquarius also represents the weirdo. I love it. The weirdos of astrology, because they're so out there and they're so unique and they do things on the beat of their own drum. And so it's kind of funny that Calvin has this here because I am very weird and out there. And so it's really funny that he has that there. So when I saw that earlier, I was like, huh. Okay. It also says a lot, wherever your sun is in your chart will say where you personally will shine the most, whatever house it's in, and it is in his 7th house, which is really kind of funny when you think about it. It means that he will shine in his personal close relationships. I would assume that if we were to look at it in an adoption way, he is going to shine with his immediate owners. And since his sun is in Aquarius, Aquariuses do like to have friends, depending on where the planets are in your chart. But for the most part, he's got his sun, which is in Aquarius, in the 7th house of relationships. And so he's going to really be connected to whoever is with him, and that his owners, which is us. He's going to have a really good relationship with us, and he shines the most when he is with us, which is so true. Okay, let's keep going. Let's go to his moon. His moon is in Cancer, and it is in the 12th house. First, we'll quick talk about the house, and then we'll go into the planet. The 12th house represents the other side, institutions, hidden things. It can be a very mental house. And when I say mental, I mean sometimes we're dealing with like mental health stuff, things we personally keep hidden that we don't really share with the world. It can also represent intuition and spiritualism on the other side, getting things, messages and things to you. So the 12th house in astrology, a lot of old school astrologers will say that this house is kind of one of the scary houses because it's the unknown, it's the other side, it's like our thought process, it's dealing with things that we keep hidden or keep to ourselves. So Calvin has his moon there, and it is in Cancer. A Cancer moon, you are going to be the most kindest emotional person out there. People will be like, oh, Cancer moons, they cry all the time. That's not true. I mean, it is, you might cry, but it depends on what house it is in, and if it's in the daytime or in the nighttime, or if it's in a house that is more public or it's more private. So Calvin's is in his 12th house. Technically, it's in the public realm, but it is it's the hidden stuff. He probably won't ever show us, like if he's really sad or whatever, and this could possibly be because he's a dog. Like he can show us that when he's excited and happy, and he can kind of show us like when he's sad, or like, I mean, we know him pretty well, so we know when he's sad or happy or whatever. It's more of a hidden thing, which is kind of weird. Cancer, like I said, very empathetic, very motherly, very cuddly. I want to be with my family. Family is one of the main things that Cancer either wants or didn't have, and now they want it really bad. Their home is important to them. The first impression of them might be not rough around the edges, but you got to think of a crab. The outside of a crab, there's a hard, thin shell, but once you get on the inside, it's soft and malleable, right? It's soft and squishy. So they might, when they first meet somebody, put up a little bit of a wall until they figure out if you're safe, if you're a safe space to share thoughts and feelings with, and then they will open up and they will be forever your best friend because they're very empathetic and everything makes them feel. Like when they talk, they might say, this makes me feel this way, because they're very feely. So it's kind of crazy that Kelvin has that in his adoption chart, because it's actually kind of like, it's kind of true. Let's move on to Kelvin's rising sign or ascendant sign. So with Kelvin, he's got his rising sign in Leo. And what does that mean? This line right here that I have my mouse on, that is the ascendant or the rising. Your rising is the moment that the sun peaked over and started to come up over the eastern horizon. Basically gives you a lot of your core personality traits, but it's very physical. So when you first meet somebody, you're going to give off this type of vibe, whatever this house sign is, to the wider public and to whoever you meet. That's going to be their first impression of you. No matter how hard you try to hide it, it'll never work. People always have a perceived perception of you based off of your rising sign. Kelvin's is in Leo, and Leo is a very happy, they're a fire sign, they're a fixed fire sign, so they're happy and they don't really like change, which is so true because he hates change. The dog is very routine, which is very much like a Leo isn't like very routine, but like they love to stay in a routine. It's just their thing. Their body part that they rule is the heart. They wear wear their heart on their sleeve type people. Leo gets the unfortunate rap of being conceited and self-centered, and I don't believe that to be true. It might be with certain placements that you might have in your chart. I have never met, honestly, a Leo that does not want the best for themselves, but also the best for you. Kelvin, if we were to say with Kelvin, of course he is this way. He is so giving and loving and wears his heart on his sleeve, and he's goofy. He has his little moments where he's goofy and cute. I could definitely see him being a fun-loving Leo when he's around, when he's around his family with his son and only showing us his like actual true emotions. So I think this is a good wrap up of Calvin's birth chart. Wanted to share this. I hope you guys enjoyed this, and I hope you guys had fun watching this, because I could talk about astrology forever and hours, and I love bringing this type of information to the forefront. By reading a birth chart helps you, and that could possibly help you, go for it, because you're not hurting anybody, you're actually healing yourself. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.